Okay, it slowed down a bit. So we'll start the campus briefing. So welcome everyone to our spring campus briefing. It's Friday, March 18th. We're excited to have, this will be our last briefing until we see things might be changing or the activity with the COVID becomes a little bit more dynamic, but thankfully right now we're sort of in a calm phase. And so we're gonna just keep our intention on hoping that the calmness continues for as long as possible. And so we have a number of panelists. I'm very excited to be able to work with these folks that are on the panel to help us understand what's happening in our district with respect to COVID and our activities on campus. And so I always like to introduce everybody before we begin the conversation. And then we promised you we save at a minimum of 30 minutes for Q&A. So I think everybody attending knows who I am. I'm Melissa Moreno, president at Skyline College, and I'll turn it over to Nguyen.
Good afternoon. Nguyen Orante, Vice President of Student Services. Good to be here and good to see many of you here.
Thank you. Michelle?
Good afternoon, everyone. Michelle Radowski, the Director of Maintenance and Operations for Facilities.
Joe?
Hi, everyone. Joe Morello, Vice President of Administrative Services.
Marie?
Hello, everyone. Marie Billy, interim CHRO. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Danny?
Hello, I'm Danny Redding-Lampus, the Interim Vice President of Instruction.
Ingrid?
Hi, I'm Ingrid Vargas, Dean of Planning, Research, Innovation, and Effectiveness.
Jim?
Happy Friday, everyone. Jim Vangley, overseeing public safety, Skyline College.
John?
Good afternoon, everyone. Facilities Manager, Skyline College.
And Sherry?
Noon, Sherry Colleen, Director of Community Relations and Marketing. Welcome, everyone.
Great. So I am going to provide a report on behalf of Ray Hernandez. He can't make it today, but he sent me some information to share with you all. And so while things might be calm now, we could anticipate a surge following spring break. And so there's different spring breaks across the state. It could be next week. Ours is the last week of March. And so what Ray is asking all of us to do is to be prepared with antigen testing kits. And so I am informed that we have plenty of these. So everybody should have two leading up to, say, the first week of April. And the places that you get the testing kits are, if you're an employee, from the division offices, unless it's after hours, public safety has them, and the students are getting them from the bookstore. And so I think what we decided that's happening is that there's a cart outside of the bookstore that gets replenished. And so we are just encouraging everyone to have their supply of 2 antigen tests ready to go in case we see a surge during spring break. Hopefully not, but we will see. And then I'd like to turn it over to Michelle if she has anything from the district around facilities.
Thank you, Dr. Moreno, and happy Friday to everyone. Just wanted to let everyone know that as part of our regular maintenance, our teams replace the MERV 13 filters on a regular basis, and that cycle is coming up in the near future. And then aside from that, in regard to COVID, we're continuing on with ventilation as we have, and we're continuing to clean as we have been doing so as directed in the health and safety plan. And so far, we think things are going okay since this is really our first semester back. Really appreciate all of the input from all of you and the good questions throughout this process, because that's helped us to strengthen our performance and our communication. So thanks very much, and keep us informed as to what your needs are.
Thanks, Michelle. Marie, do you have any update for district HR?
No, I don't. I think everything is, status quo in our office. So if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to try to answer, or if not, try to get an answer to.
Thank you. And any any Skyline updates from public safety? Jim?
Everything's been going smooth. We do have sufficient supplies and PPE to get to people. I think as people are getting more comfortable using the various PPE and the tests and understanding exactly when to use them and what they're for, specifically the tests, just a reminder, you only use those if you think you've been exposed or if you think you may have symptoms or feel sick. It's not just part of your morning routine, wake up, make your coffee and take a test. It's just not meant for that. So everything's been going smooth, and we've been getting all the supplies out within minutes of people requesting. So we're always here for you.
Great, thank you. John, do you have any update for us? Anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Michelle said. Spring break is coming along, and so the maintenance team is going to be doing a lot of ventilation maintenance on the building units during spring break, and we'll make sure they're up to par.
Okay, thank you. And then any updates from student services at Skyline, Dr. Arante?
Before I go, Melissa, Michelle had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Thanks. I just want to jump on to what Jim had said. We also just got another huge order of PPE. So, of the N95 masks and hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes. So we've got plenty of those too. Thanks.
Thank you. Nguyen?
Yeah, just following up on the PPE. First, I just want to say thanks to John and Jim and everybody else involved. Our entrances continue to be replenished with masks, even though the state had kind of softened up and lifted the mandate. We are still requiring masks indoors for our folks on campus. The other update that I just wanted to share is that for those students who did their submitted exemptions, we continue to follow up on a weekly basis. We have a number of students who, unfortunately, despite a number of attempts of reminding them of their obligations, we had to take actions and also then look at interim suspensions for them. But what we have done as the 3 colleges, BPSS, is that they are simply being suspended for in-person courses. So that way we're still student-centered and understanding their circumstances. We're not allowing them to be in person for their courses. And if they continue to not follow the requirements, we're also taking actions to administratively drop students, again, from only in-person courses, not their entire registered courses.
Thank you, Nguyen. Any update from instruction, Danny?
Sure, I think I can just follow up for any student that is unable to take an in-person class. We do have March Start, which is starting next Monday. We have over 20 classes. We currently have 612 student enrollments in our March Start GE pathways. So, and that's online, predominantly online.
Great, great news. Thank you. Anything else from my team that we want to update regarding sort of COVID and a return to campus? And if not, we will open it up for questions. Okay. So, I think with things calming down, we have less to report, which is good news. We're moving in the right direction. And so now we're opening it up to the group for questions. Anybody have any questions who's attending the webinar? If you do, you put it in the Q&A feature, and we'll go one by one.
Melissa, I don't see any questions. Can I add one more update as well, if that's okay,
Sure.
while we're waiting for questions?
Great.
I just wanted to also acknowledge the work that Financial Aid Office is doing. During this pandemic, many of you guys know that we receive funds from the state and the federal government, and they have been diligently continuing to get funds to students. So we are continuing to offer support and services to our undocumented ESL students, as well as our regular students, whether they're Pell eligible or not Pell eligible. So students continue to receive funding. And it might not be related to this, but the fact that we also received an extension from the state, and I don't want to put Joe in any pressure or spot, but the resources that we have might carry on to summer and fall, given the resources that we have received from the feds. Don't know yet about new funding, but then we continue to support our students as a result of that.
Thank you. Very helpful. Okay, I see one in the Q&A. What is the likelihood that our mask mandate will continue for the semester? I've heard that it will be discussed at the board meeting Wednesday, but the agenda packet isn't posted yet. So as far as I know, it will not be discussed at the board meeting. I have seen the preliminary agenda. It's not on there. And the directive from our chancellor is that the mask mandate continues until further notice. And so that's where we stand with the mask mandate. And I think there's no specific commitment for a time period. Any other questions? Well, we'll give it another minute, and if there are none, we will be closing the webinar. So if you have any questions, get them in now.
While we wait for questions, I can also add, usually Ray would discuss this, but I can mention it. We're still doing the testing on campus. So if somebody wants to get tested, you can go to, depending on the weather, it's either in building 3E or in parking lot P as in Paul. But we do have some very nice people there that will get you a COVID test. And that's different from the take-home COVID tests, which those are meant for emergencies. When you can't get anywhere and you might be infected and you shouldn't be leaving your house. The tests on campus are anytime you want to get tested. So if you like taking tests, you can just show up on campus. And I believe you have to make an appointment, but it's easy to do. And then you can just show up and have your test taken there.
I think the appointment is just a kind of a registration. So they just need to know who you are, and then you can just show up after you've registered. Michelle?
Yeah, that is correct. And we're working with a company called COVID Care, who's providing that. Those are the PCR tests. So those are the ones where you take the test, you give a sample, the sample goes to the lab, it goes through the PCR process, and then you get your results back in about 48 hours or so.
Yeah,
which is different than the rapid tests, which are the iHealth in the orange box antigen tests, which are 15-minute tests.
And Joe put in the chat the campus testing site.
And just one follow-up to what Jim said, that they're in portable 3B as in boy, not 3E as in effort.
Oh, okay,
good. 3B as in boy. So if you're looking for them, there's a sign out in front. And it's true that PCR tests, you can go in and take those on a weekly basis. I've been doing that on a weekly basis. Very easy to do. You do just register, and then you can walk on down there and do it. They're very nice. It's a nasal test and it's self-administered. So I'd encourage folks to do it. It's not a problem at all.
And that is also the resource there for our employees who are exempted from the vaccine, right? And no?
No, so we've got actually 3 different types of testing going on.
Right.
Okay.
And actually 4 now.
Okay.
So at all three campuses, COVID care is available to our employees and our students and the community Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And that's the PCR testing. And for at Skyline, that's the testing that's in 3B. Then you have the antigen tests that are the 15-minute rapid tests. And then for our staff and students with exemptions, those folks are working with Ray's
Health specialist.
Virus Geeks.
his health specialists
Okay.
with Virus Geeks. And then the fourth opportunity for us continues with San Mateo County Health at College of San Mateo, the LHI group that's there, that's for staff, students, and the community as well.
Right.
So we have testing available on our campuses. Thank you.
And the LHI is a drive-through test.
Yeah.
You stay in your car the entire time, you drive up and do that. And again, that registration process is very easy and simple to do.
And so I guess, since I wasn't clear, let's make it really clear for our employees and students that are required to test weekly. They have to go where? Is it that Virus Geeks?
Yeah, Virus Geeks in 3E. I'm going to get one location right today.
Ah.
That is 3E.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
I think that's super critical because we communicate with the students. And so for our employees that are exempted, they do need to go with our health specialist in portable 3E, because then after they test, their information is uploaded into the system, which then I get a report. So I'm communicating with people who are not making their agreements or responsibilities. So if they're testing elsewhere, let's just clarify that portable 3E is where our students should be going and where our employees would be going as well for that requirement.
Got it. Okay, and I think that's correct now in the chat. Okay, good. All right. Anyone else out there that has any questions for us?
Ray just joined.
Oh, hey, Ray. Oh, good to see you. Well, I'm sure I completely botched your update, but I
She
attempted
did great.
And so if you want, we've been talking about the 4 different kinds of testing available where employees and students who are exempted have to go. So we kind of just finished that conversation, and we talked about the importance of getting the antigen tests in your bring those home and have those available so that we're prepared if there's a surge after spring break activities. So
all sounds great. You got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'm here to support and answer questions.
Thank you. So we've had the Q&A open for a while. We've only gotten one, and I'm going to close this out pretty soon because we all are very, very busy people needing to get back to work. So anyone out there with a question, going once, going twice? That's it. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming and hearing us. And thank you to the panelists and my cabinet for supporting this effort. And we will not have any more return to campus briefings unless the situation becomes more dynamic and I get a sense that our community needs some reinforcement with greater communication. But for now, I think we're good. But believe me when I say we'll come back to this if we need to. So thank you so much for participating and for supporting the process. Take care, everybody.